Hello, and welcome back to Fitness or Fiction. Today's episode is a current events episode. We're talking about death. Roll it. Part 3.
Part 3.
Of the podcasts on death.
Joesthetics. Did you ever stumble across Joe, or did you only hear about him after he passed away?
I did stumble across Joe a little bit.
Is it because I sent him to you?
Yeah, you did. You did send him.
So, Joesthetics, I think he was German. He seemed to have a German accent.
He was German.
He was German.
So
Joesthetics has been a fitness influencer for a really long time. Really phenomenal physique. Obviously, genetics played a heavy role into it. Obviously, hard work played a heavy role into it. And obviously, a little bit of sauce played a little bit of a role into it.
It seemed as though...
For his physique.
It seemed as though he was not against supplementation.
Enhancement.
Enhance.
I thought his physique was amazing, though. Like, if steroids didn't have the side effects and the bad rap and the negative health benefits and all the blah, 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 I would jump on the superhero juice, too.
Yeah, dude looked pretty bomb. He did.
I thought he looked great. And I thought he was very playful. In the community, people had nothing but nice things to say about him. He was the nicest dude, super friendly, super playful, very lighthearted, just wanted to help people. All of his videos were really playful and fun, like on his social media posts. Like, he was just kind of like just a happy-go-lucky, living a life, being a gym bro kind of guy with a rock star physique.
Yeah, I don't know what he was like when the camera was off, but I will say the things that he put out into the ether didn't tend to have much negativity to them.
No.
I will say that.
Yeah, he was very, he seemed like a good dude. And he passed away within the last 30 days from an aneurysm.
Yeah, and so the former 2 episodes where we were talking about it, we had one where we were talking about Jana Samsonova, which was the vegan one. We had one where we were talking about Justin Vicky, was it? Justin Vicky and the squatting accident. And then this one here is an aesthetics death. And everybody will rush, like the squatting one. It's, squatting caused that death. It's like, poor planning caused that death. Like, that, let's be real. Like, That's what happened. It was an accident. Maybe it was unavoidable. Maybe better planning wouldn't have helped it. Maybe he was already passed out when that happened. Who knows?
Yeah.
But when it comes to this particular one, everyone's going to rush to say, steroids did it, blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, so first of all, you don't know if he had any pre-existing conditions. You don't know when he started taking steroids. You don't know what he's taking or when he was. So there's a bunch of big jumps being made there. And on top of that, it's like, well, even if he did have an aneurysm, can you create causation there? Can you verify causation? Because, like, if he had aortic dissection going on, which can be a result of steroids, could that cause a stroke? Yeah, it could. It could. But could you say that that's why that happened? There's a variety of things that can cause that. Mm-hmm. So when you have something like that go on, I think that's a jump. And I think unfortunately a lot of people are using this for their own benefit and clickbait.
Yeah, well, it's with him because he was so well liked in the industry. There's a lot of articles just saying, like, respect the legend kind of thing. Like, he was legend in the industry. Stuff. And then there is the other side of the web that's, Joesthetics, did he die because of steroids? Like,
bodybuilder influence dies because of steroids. Like,
you almost see those articles though, like, once every 6 months.
Yeah.
To be honest, like, I see a bodybuilder died, like.
Well, let's be real. I just turned 40. Every 6 months to a year, I hear of a classmate that died.
Yeah.
They don't all have that in common. Mm-hmm. Just saying.
Just life.
Like, as we get older, people die. And it's very sad. I'm not trying to make light of it or anything, but I am saying, like, see, all the bodybuilders are dying. It's like, well, people that are vegan still die of cancer, man. Yeah. Like, it happens. It does. Yeah. So it's unfortunate and it's sad, but I don't think that you can just be like, they died because they're a bodybuilder. And there's some that you could, like Lee Priest, for example. Lee Priest was an unreal bodybuilder.
Yeah, he was one of my favorites before he got all tatted up.
Yeah, and like when he passed away, he had a few heart attacks and stuff.
Is he gone? Lee Priest?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's sad. I didn't know Lee Priest went.
Pretty sure. Unless I'm talking about the wrong guy.
But anyways,
Australian dude.
Anyways, there's a lot of huge bodybuilders who are on copious amounts of steroids who are still kicking around after they stopped their cycles once they became older men.
And this is my point.
Yeah.
There's, even the people that are verified to have done a lot of this stuff, like Sylvester Stallone, for example. Arnold Schwarzenegger, for example. These are people that they admit to having taken this stuff, and it doesn't matter if they do. Like Sylvester Stallone was held up in Australia with a bunch of HGH on him.
Yeah.
Like, okay, fine. So these people were taking things. That's fine. We get it. But a lot of them are still kicking around too. So you can't just say, well, they did this, so they're dead.
That's what happened. Yeah. Well, it's the same thing, like the old great uncle who smokes 2 packs of cigarettes a day while he's sipping scotch and just like cigarette, scotch. And he's like still kicking around at like 84 years old, just like gets up. He's like like carpenter in his garage. Like,
well, and again, you'll hear that low truth being like, well, see, doesn't matter. It's like, oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the argument for this side of the agenda.
Yeah, he's the exception, not the rule. And I think that can be the case with drug use on that level too. I'm not advocating by any stretch that people should do that sort of supplementation, but I'm just saying don't write them off because of it either. Like, could that have played a role? It very well could have. Is that something that's the best choice for your health? I don't think so. Can you just boil it down to this guy died because of steroids? Until I see conclusive evidence that was caused specifically from that, it's like, well, and I don't think that exists. Like, they didn't say this person has aortic dissection. They didn't say this person has left heart hypertrophy. They didn't say any of that. All they said was, oh yeah, well, dude passed away and he was young, so what the heck, right?
Yeah.
So it could have been a variety of factors. And I have seen people pass away in the middle of a spin class from an aortic aneurysm.
Yeah.
I've seen that. Very upsetting. But are you going to say it's spin's fault?
Yeah.
That could have happened to that person.
It's Peloton's fault.
Watching Shark Week too. Get fired up. Like,
oh my God. It's a great white.
Yeah. No, it's the same thing though. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it really honors these people's memories. And I think it's natural for a human being to look at it and say, well, what's the cautionary tale here? Because, we think in stories. I understand that. But it doesn't get boiled down that simply. And with these people, could we say they could have made better choices to avoid such a thing? Maybe, but you can't just put it out there like that. So could
you.
Exactly. That's the point.
So could you. I pointed at myself.
That is exactly the point, though. It's like, well, yeah, we all could make better choices. We're all people, and when our time is up... Sorry?
I seen you eating sugar cookies earlier.
Oh, yeah, Diane, if you're watching. Nice. Meringue cookies. Those are the things, yeah.
Yeah,
but
so...
when we boil this down, we've done three different situations and what's to be taken from it. With Joesthetics, is it a good health decision to be taking a bunch of performance enhancers?
Probs
not.
Probs not.
But can we verify what was being taken and what actually caused that? Definitely not.
To that point as well, what you're saying is, I have nothing against guys that do juice. Like if guys was like, oh yeah, I do juice, I'm like, yeah, boy, get it. Like you want to be a big boy? That's what big boys do. They do the juice. But what I'm trying to say is, he obviously was an adult. He weighed the risks versus the rewards, and he made that decision to do those drugs. It's the same thing as a person that decides to go drink alcohol every single night or have a 6-pack of booze or smoke cigarettes. Like there's no difference. Like that has negative health benefits, that has negative health benefits, that has negative health benefits. Like they all have it and you all chose to do it. We all do something that's not optimal for our health.
Well, let's talk about those 3 situations. Squatting heavy, taking PEDs, maybe, strictly vegan diet. All 3 of those are choices that an adult made. And all 3 of them don't necessarily lead to that. So I don't think we should make that jump in reasoning.
Is like being a vegan for life or eating McDonald's for life and fast food? which road? Like I had some McDonald's in the last 30 days. Like
yeah, but probably not every meal,
Not every meal.
Probably the exception.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that is the story. When it comes to fitness in particular, people like to sensationalize and hype things up so much that they can just do these if-then statements that are blanketing and following their own feelings on the matter. And it's not fair. I don't think it's super appropriate, and I don't think it's super helpful. I think we can all give each other a little bit of grace, and we can just look at these situations for what they are. They're absolutely tragic.
Yeah. Everyone was too young. But, well, little chit-chat. I think for me, the summary of these episodes is that you got to draw your own conclusions more than just the hype of the clickbait of the articles that you read. There's more to the story. There's a lot more to the story.
I think at the end of the day, our opinion is nuance for the win. Like when somebody's like, well, my opinion is this because I'm a Democrat, or my opinion is this because I'm conservative.
That
my opinion
attached.
is that because I'm a vegan. It's like, well, don't be so attached to the ism.
Yeah.
Like you can have a multifaceted opinion, and you are more than just your opinions anyways.
And you can respect the other side of the
Yeah.
table.
Yeah, like somebody's like, no, that definitely was steroids. It's like, cool, what's your evidence?
Yeah, if somebody disagrees with us, they can disagree with us,
Absolutely.
like, respectfully. We don't...
No, I
and I'm
encourage
open to
it.
having my mind change on any of this stuff.
And I think that's the big win. Like when we go for openness and nuance, I think that things just get done better. And if we were to look at things more in that scenario, like what am I going to take away from those? Like, first of all, with the vegan thing, it's like, well, I don't think that's bad on its own, but I don't think that people should be going down one pathway on their diet really strictly because it's like become a belief network for them. I don't think that's a good thing myself. It tends to not lead to a good place. And I've seen a lot of examples of that one, not usually resulting in death. When it comes to strength training, it's like, well, what do you learn from that squatting thing? Is that don't squat? No. For me, it's like, okay, we need to plan that out a little better. Like one spotter in that scenario is probably not good. Did they speak about that ahead of time? There's a lot of information I don't have. At the end of the day, take the weight serious is what I take away from that. And then the third one, it's like you got to beware when you're making health decisions. Like I'm not just talking about PEDs necessarily. I'm talking about when you're making health decisions in general, where it changes what you consume and what your body does and the factors of how your body operates. You got to take those serious as well. So take your diet serious, take your training serious, and take your approach to life serious. I think those are all fair things to say, man.
Take your approach to life serious, I think, is a big one. I think people get so caught up in all the stressors and BS of life that people are too tired to put more effort into health, training, nutrition. It all just kind of stacks up to be the next thing. Like,
Totally.
if you guys are still here with us, we appreciate you guys listening and your support. If you got any comments or you want to add to the conversation, let us know in the comments below, and I'll be sure that we eyeball them with our eyeballs.